analysis that we're going to talk about in a minute, that this can help make their lives easier and also make them look good in the eyes of their clients. In considering the difference between convenience and event buyers, of which commercial real estate brokers are typically classified in the event category, it's important to remember that past events that they've had also lead to the convenience buys. And what that means is, if you get to know commercial real estate brokers, they can help lead you down a path to good, solid small business borrowers and refer you in. Even though there may not be a real estate transaction involved, these could be the best borrowers that you've dealt with on equipment, working capital, and any number of things that we do for them as a financial services provider. So what is it that we're going to talk about? Well, it's a comparative financing analysis, and what you'll see are some examples brought up on screen for you of what the comparative financing analysis looks like. So what I'm going to take you through is strategically why it's important and how it works, and then I'm going to talk to you tactically about what you can do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis to make this work, get you involved with commercial real estate brokers, and help leverage that into much larger quarters than hopefully you ever imagined. So the comparative financing analysis is both static and dynamic if you consider the fact that it's static in the sense that it is a rate and fee sheet, so that any person out there knows what our rates and fees are given that week or month whenever you're sending that out. It's dynamic in the sense that the comparative financing analysis provides the real estate broker and their client a property-specific overview of an array of Wells Fargo real estate products that cover the full range from SBA 504 to investor properties. There's plenty of space at the top of the comparative financing analysis for the broker's stationery. This gives them top billing, which is important because it doesn't look like they're out there shopping Wells Fargo loans. It makes them look like they're doing the shopping for the client, and that's important. It's important because that broker is going to be much more motivated to put you with second billing on their flyer than to be co-billed with them. It's also not going to alienate their other lenders that they typically work with, where maybe they've worked with them for a long time and they're not completely sure about you yet. So how it works. Comparative financing analysis was originally built with a relational database that took three separate pools of data, if you will. One pool were the brokers and the brokerages themselves, basically just a contact list that you're going to use going forward. The second pool of data are the listings that the brokers have. Those are the properties, the list price, and anything that's distinct about that property, like the area, the address, some description about something particular on that property. And then the third pool of data that you'll just update is the rate and fee information for that given period of time. So if you're doing them monthly, you just pull the rates and fees for that week and plug them in. And then what this does is it creates a report for each broker and prints out the list of comparative financing analyses for all of their properties that they have at the time. And if you look at the example that was on screen, what that shows them is that, say, for a property at 1234 Test Way, if the price is $500,000, it shows them the percent down, the monthly payment, the rate, and the fee for every type of loan that Wells Fargo offers. And those are all the loans that a particular small business would want, from an SBA all the way over to if they were buying it for an investment. So how to identify brokers to work with before we talk about actually working with the brokers? There are a few different ways you can do this. One is get data from your area manager or division manager on past real estate transactions that have occurred in your market. There are some companies like Comps, InfoSystems, DataQuick. Depending upon your market, the information source might be different, but the point is this. You want to deal with the brokers who are doing deals and not just any broker that's out there. And there are information sources that can help get you to the people that are the players in your market, because they're the ones that you want to network with, because they'll send you more deals and they can help you out. The other one is watch the signs. When you're driving around in your market, you want to look at the signs that show the broker's name, the firm, and the phone number. If you see a particular broker and they've got lots of signs, then you know that person's probably pretty active in the community. The important thing to underscore in this entire program is this. It's not necessarily about doing real estate loans. It's about building a network and being visible in your market, because that's how you're going to find a lot of deals and you're going to get up to speed really fast. By dealing with the brokers that have lots of visibility and piggybacking on their efforts, that's going to get you up to speed that much faster. So watching the signs is a pretty important way of doing it. The other one are certified development companies. They're the agents for the SBA 504 program, and they can help put you with the brokers that are doing the most deals, because they will realize, most certified development companies know, that Wells is a serious player in the commercial real estate market. Let's talk about the tactical approach to approaching commercial real estate brokers and what to do daily, weekly, monthly, and also how to give a broker presentation, the do's and the don'ts. What to do daily. Keep an eye out for the signs of brokers that you may not have noticed or not picked up when you went through building your group of brokers that you're going to be dealing with. Also, on a daily basis, be ready to respond to broker inquiries that come in. If you've sent some CFAs out, comparative financing analyses, they're called CFAs, be ready for calls from brokers, because what will happen, and you know it's working at this point, is if a broker calls you up and says, Brad, I've got a call tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and the property that you sent me the CFA on was just lowered in price from $500,000 to $425,000. Can you rerun it because I've got a call in the morning? Not only do you need to be ready to respond to those, at that point it's validation that what you're doing is working because they're using your information. What to do weekly. Keep an updated list of the properties for the brokers that are available. This is done through working directly with the firms that produce the listing books. What you're going to want to do is go to the CB Commercial and the Grubb & Ellis and the Galbraith companies and ask for their marketing manager, and just ask to be placed on their mailing list and get a copy of the listings book for the firm. What that'll list are the brokers, their properties for sale and lease, and any information that goes along with that. You don't have to worry about the leases when you're dealing with the CFAs, but just do note in the cover letter that you'll see on screen, you've probably already seen it by now, that we do lease financing. It's just an unsecured type of loan. As long as it's good for the business and it's good credit risk, we can do that. Call brokers on a weekly basis. Just pick a few out and make sure that they're receiving the CFAs and find out if they're using them. That'll also give you an opportunity to get some feedback about any changes that you might want to make, or to help clear up any misconceptions that they may have about you, the CFAs, or Wells Fargo. And then what to do monthly. I would say on a monthly basis, probably no more, you want to be mailing the CFAs out to the brokers. The CFAs are the actual document that lists the property-specific overview and the cover letter that talks about what's going on at Wells Fargo and anything that you would like to say to the brokerage community. You might want to remind them that we're an excellent place to get equipment financing, for instance, in addition to real estate financing. And be creative on the cover letters. This is your space, because the CFAs are about the brokers. Even though you're co-billed at the bottom in much smaller print, the cover letter is where you get to speak your message to the brokers. So now let's talk just a little bit about how to give a broker presentation, and I think more to the point, how not to step on a landmine when you're dealing with brokers. And if you're going to be dealing with brokers and doing presentations, other than dealing with one broker at a time, you might want to consider approaching the marketing manager for the firms. And usually the firms have groups: industrial, retail, office. And you're going to want to deal with the industrial folks more than anyone else, and probably some of the office. Retail, there's not a whole lot going on, at least right now, and for this foreseeable future, it looks like that's going to be a declining real estate trend. So you approach the manager of, say, the industrial group, and you ask if you can attend their breakfast meeting, which they usually have on a monthly or weekly basis. When you go in, be prepared to talk about the CFAs, what's going on at Wells Fargo, and let's talk about some don'ts. Talk about what's in it for them. That's a do, but the big don't here is don't turn it into a rate and fee dog and pony show. That's something that you don't want to do. Every bank comes in and every lender will come in and talk about what their rates are and what their fees are, and won't you please send me loans. That's one thing you want to steer clear of. Take the high road when you're dealing with a broker presentation. Don't imply that we'll pay referral fees. That will be a question that will be asked, and you need to be prepared to respond to that. And one of the best ways to respond to it is just that by doing a lot more loans with Wells Fargo and having more options available to them, they'll do more deals as a result of having worked with you, and that pales in comparison to the few referral fees they might get by going to lots of different lenders. It's probably not worth their time, and you can break it down into a billable hour scenario for them. And don't leave any doubt in the broker's minds that we're just another bank or lender. You can quote lots of statistics about Wells Fargo and how we are a player in any kind of lending you can imagine. In fact, in California, for the last couple of years, we've been #1 in the SBA 504 program, and their borrowers, our borrowers, and their clients have been knocking down the door trying to get the SBA 504 program. Let's talk about some do's. Things to do when you're making a broker presentation: talk about what's in it for them. Make sure that they understand that